these 6 things are very important for you to know before you make your next bread. Number one, why is your dough sticky when mixing? It is normal for bread dough to become sticky when mixing, but however, there are some things that causes it. Number one, your bread dough is already overproofing. It could be that you added excess yeast, and while you are kneading and while you are mixing it, remember the fermentation process continues. Your bread dough continues to rise, and as it continues to rise, it becomes more sticky. So that is why your bread dough is sticky. What you can do is make sure that you mix your dough with room temperature water. Don't use warm water, so that the rising process will not quickly start, or it will not overrise. Then number two, you have to make your bread processing very fast. You have to knead it very fast and place it in your oven to bake. So that's the reason. And number three is that probably your dough is too sticky. Your dough is too wet, like you use excess quantity of water to mix your dough, so that is why it is sticky. So it is either it is overrising, you use excess water, or you did not mix on time. Another thing you should know is that if your yeast does not form, that means that your yeast is dead or inactive. Like if you activate your yeast, of course you know how to activate your yeast, you mix it with warm water, and if it does not form on the surface, that means your yeast is either dead or inactive. Another thing you should know is, can you use hand mixer to mix? Yes, of course, I'm checking my nuggets here, that's why you see my eyes sweeping. Can you use hand mixer to knead? You cannot compare hand mixer with a table mixer, but however, there are different sizes and different strengths of hand mixer. But make sure that using excess flour to mix you are not using a small hand mixer to mix a quantity that does not tally with it. I hope you understand what I am saying. So it is better you use a stand mixer over hand mixer, or unless you are mixing something very small. So another very important thing you should know is that the best use for your bread is what? You can use either instant yeast or dry yeast for your bread. So the difference between instant yeast and dry yeast is that instant yeast is more powerful than dry yeast, and you don't need to proof instant yeast before using, unlike dry yeast. If you are sure your dry yeast is active, it is original, and it is not dead, you can go ahead and use your instant yeast like that, even without proving. So you can use dry yeast or instant yeast for your bread. Anyone will do. Another very important thing you should know is that when you bake your bread and you see that, oh, the outside, that's the crust, the brown part is hard while the inside is fluffy, it is because of the temperature of your oven. So regulate the temperature of your oven. So sometimes the electric oven, for instance, it has up temperature and down temperature. Like the upper part of the oven and lower part of the oven generates heat. So you have to control your temperature very well, so that the outside of your bread does not get brown before the inside gets done. So that is the main reason for it. And also, maybe while you are egg washing, well, if you had like butter and egg together, so it's going to form a hard crust. And last but not the least, I said 6 things. Now, when your bread gets burnt, even after greasing your baking pan does not stop your bread from getting burnt. Wow! It still boils down to your temperature regulation. Control the heat of your oven, and everything will be just fine. I hope you got value. If you have any other question that you want to ask there in the comment section. See you again in my next video. Bye bye. Kneading dough to rising high, every bake's a sweet good.